I have a solution to the loneliness epidemic. It's a bold claim, I know, but hear me out. You need to have your friends around for dinner regularly. And if you start doing that, if everyone started doing that, we wouldn't be nearly so lonely.
Oh, great. The solution to loneliness is just to have friends and hang out with them. Awesome. Thank you for that.
I hear that complaint, but loneliness and friendship is not quite an A to B thing. It's an A to C thing. There's something in the middle. There's a vehicle that takes a community or a culture from being lonely and fragmented to having meaningful relationships and community and friendships. And I'm convinced that that thing is having your friends around for dinner. And I don't mean just catching up for beers or for brunch or for coffee. Your friends in your house eating food that you've cooked. It's the Sunday lunch. It's family dinner. It's a weeknight drop-in. Frankly, it's something that we in the modern West have forgotten how to do, and we seem to be paying the price for it. Here are 3 reasons why I think cooking dinner for your friends is such a powerful thing. We live in a culture that is hurried, consumerist, and individualistic. And cooking dinner for your friends forces you to slow down, to create something, and to be vulnerable. And I want to talk about those 3 things with you. Look, I'll acknowledge up front, this is maybe going to sound a bit wanky and pseudo-philosophical, which, if that's cringe or distasteful to you, then farewell. I don't blame you. But I think there is some truth to this, and I'm very keen to help people like you to feel confident to cook for their friends. That's why I'm starting this project. I want you to learn how to be able to do that. I want to be able to answer your questions. I want to be able to give you tips and tools and recipes and convince you that this is something that will really add value to your life. So let's talk about these 3 things. The first one, forces you to slow down. We're always in a hurry. We're always busy. And the busyness of the cultural sea that we swim in is part of the reason that we're so lonely. People deal with the busyness by, I think, either embracing it. You end up in this hyper-productivity, optimized workflow, diet, gym, self-improvement sort of stream. Or at the other end, you end up trying to escape. You distract yourself. You scroll TikTok. You play video games. You binge eat. You engage in things that are going to hit your dopamine and distract you. Both of those things, I think, are unhelpful, and the frantic pace of life that we live drives us to them. Having your friends around for a meal forces you to not be doing either of those things. You have to be present, you are focused on a task, and when they come and you're eating together, you have to be there. You could scroll on your phone while your friends are around. I've had a friend that did that a bit, actually. It was pretty annoying. But don't. Don't do that. You're there, your friends are there, you're not distracted, you're not hyper busy. It's like a breath of fresh air. And having moments in the week and in the month where you can just stop and breathe is really good. And it's a pretty low cost, low barrier of entry way to do that, is to have your friends around for a meal. The second thing is it forces you to create something. We, by default, are consumers. We consume all the time, particularly when it comes to food. Rarely are we creative, or at least if we are, we're creative in the context of food being a chore. You have to feed yourself, you have to eat to live. So you make something, you eat it, you move on. And the creative art of food is left to the chefs. I think that's true for a lot of creative disciplines in the modern world. Music is left to the musicians, art is left to the artists, writing is left to the writers. And everyday people don't really just paint or write or sing or cook. And I think that's a shame, because if all of those pursuits are left to the experts and the masters, and I think it's great that we have experts and masters, all we can do as everyday people is consume what they create. And I think consuming masterful art is a real privilege, but I don't think that's all that it should be. And I think when it comes to food, you can and should create. Not every day. If you just need to chuck something together to eat it because you need a quick dinner, do it. But if you have an opportunity to have your friends around and make them something and put in effort and work and creative energy to make something, that's pretty cool. And I think you should give it a go. Number 3, it forces you to be vulnerable. Now, this is an idea that I don't remember where I heard it. I definitely didn't think of it. I heard it somewhere. When it comes to having people in your home and feeding them, we default to thinking about it as entertainment. I'm entertaining them. We're entertaining guests. You're the host. There's this kind of expectation on you to perform. Your house needs to look a certain way. You need to have a certain level of decor. You need to have a certain standard of food quality. There's all this expectation on you as the host to entertain his guests. And I just don't think that needs to be there. Having your friends around for dinner does not have to be this arduous, stressful endeavor of entertaining guests. It's showing hospitality. And in some ways, that's kind of harder than entertaining guests because you need to be vulnerable to do that. You're not putting on a show. You're not performing with your food and your home and yourself for these people. You're opening yourself up to them. They're coming into your house. They're seeing your furniture. They're seeing the state your house is in. And I think that a base level of hygiene is important. But if you've got some laundry hanging from the clothes horse in the corner of the lounge, that's okay. The point of having friends around for dinner is to build and deepen relationships, and vulnerability is a really important part of that. And if you're letting people into the reality of your life, your house, and all of its mess, I think there's something special in that. I think when it's easier in our culture to just be an individual and be walled off and to not let anyone in, it can be hard to open up. And I think that doing that in the context of sharing a meal, you don't have to think too hard about it. You don't have to wonder about how am I going to open up to this person. I want to build a friendship with them. I want our relationship to be deeper. I want to have a meaningful connection with these people or this person. You don't have to think hard about how am I going to open up about a certain thing. I just think the act of having someone in your home, sitting down eating food that you've made, does that. Often I've found that conversations over or after a meal will just naturally become open and vulnerable and deep because you just set that standard by the action of feeding your friends in your home. Why am I harping on about this? Why do I care? Why am I making this video? My name's Jacob. I work as a cook. I love cooking for people. I love feeding people. I'm often asked what my favorite thing to cook is, and my answer is usually whatever other people like to eat. That or fried rice. I do really like fried rice as well. But I really like cooking for people. And I come from a family that really likes cooking for people. And I think that it's something that everyone can do. Something that you can do. And it's something that if you did it, your life would be better for it. So I think that I've got some experience, some insight, some skill that I can offer you to help you be able to do that. And I want to be able to answer the questions that you've got about cooking dinner for your friends, about showing hospitality to people. What are your barriers? Do you not know what to cook? Do you think you're a bad cook? Is your house too small? Is it too messy? Are you too busy? Do you have allergies? Do your friends have allergies? I really want to know what your questions and concerns are. I want to be able to make content as part of this Dinner at Mine project that I'm starting that is useful for you. I'm sure I'll do a bit of self-indulgent stuff as well, but I really just want to be able to help you cook dinner for your friends. And if that's something you're interested in, if you're interested in learning or getting better at cooking dinner for your friends, or even, I guess, making friends that you can cook dinner for, subscribe, follow, do all those things. Like, share. Yeah, man, I've watched YouTube for 15 years. You'd think I'd know how to do this. Stick around. There's fun stuff coming. I don't know what the stuff is yet, but it's going to be fun. See ya.